Hi there, this is Sascha from Halloween. I want to thank you guys to tune in, and I want to say happy anniversary to Belgian Jasper.
Welcome to the channel, everybody. I'm Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time on the channel, hit subscribe right now. There's no question what the most anticipated heavy metal album of this year is. It is the new Helloween album. Following the amazing Pumpkins United tour where both Kai Hansen and Michael Kiske came back to Helloween, a new full-length album is now coming out, and I sat down with guitarist Sascha Gerstner to learn all about it.
Sascha, thank you so much for your time today. Before we even get started, I want to take you back to almost exactly today, 20 years ago, which is the first time that I saw you play live. You were with Freedom Call playing in Antwerp, supporting Virgin Steel and Hammerfall. And I can imagine that at that time, as a much younger person, you think, this is it, I've made it. I'm playing for larger crowds with some of the best bands around. 20 years fast forward, you're about to release the most anticipated album of the year, and you play in one of the biggest bands in the world, and now Hammerfall is going to support you on your tour. Do you sometimes take a step back and go like, what the hell happened in the last 20 years? How did this happen?
Actually, it's been a rush somehow, like, I mean, now that you say that you're saying this, looking back, that's such a long time. I don't even feel that way. It feels like, the time was just rushing, passing by somehow. It's crazy if you look back, and then staying in the same genre, doing like the same type of stuff for such a long time feels very special to me, especially in these times now with all that happened with COVID and everything. So it's crazy that I've been able to do that for such a long time. Yeah. It's I'm blessful. I'm thankful for everything.
Hey, little alien, little gray, where's the place you're...
When the rumors first started about Pumpkins United, did you expecting that it would go so well? A lot of bands that have a similar history as Helloween, when these iconic lineups get reintroduced, that often means that newer members get sidetracked. How were you feeling about that whole thing?
Actually, I have to say that it was quite clever to make it that way, and not even from the band themselves. It was our management too. Our management was like, okay, what's been good about Helloween before Michael and Kai came back. Why should we throw that away? I mean, it's been, as you said, like it's been like already more than 20 years with Andi, I think, and now I'm like 18 years in the band, so why would you throw something away like that? And I found that was a clever move. They could have gone like full reunion, but actually it turned out on the tour that it's a great addition. It's like the family got bigger, the vibe is bigger. There's like you must know, like there's so much strong characters in the band, so many strong characters, and all that combined gives the audience a great energy, I feel. And we didn't expect it to have this impact, like we knew that there will be people were keeping an eye on us, and they would be like more interested in going to our live shows, right? But what happened then was beyond the imagination, like starting in Mexico City and then like being in a dream for almost 2 years, and then ending like on a main stage in Rock in Rio was just crazy. Coming off from that stage, flying back home, that was like, it felt perfect to start an album.
Yeah. What kickstarted, or what a lot of people made very excited about that tour, and then eventually leads to the album, was that first single, Pumpkins United, that came out.
Right.
When these kinds of projects release new material, a lot of people first are very skeptical. But I genuinely now think that Pumpkins United, let's put aside the new album, but Pumpkins United is my favorite Halloween song of all time, and the reason for that is the nostalgia part. Obviously, like all the references to all, like it's almost just like a celebration of the career.
Take heed, beware, there's something in the air. Run to an almighty size.
Now that there's 7 full-time members, there's also no room for egos too much. There's also, looking at the writing credits for the new album, seems very diverse. I think only Daniel and Michael Kiske did not get a writing credit.
Yeah.
Does that mean that we are going to get a very diverse album? We've heard a few songs already.
Well, to first sentence, I have to say that there is room for egos, but it's just a matter of how you handle that. So I believe, when you're like a younger person, especially young males, are very like into exploring the world, shouting out, "Here I am," and everybody wants to get his bit of attention,
Sure.
And throughout the years, you care less. You're more, you try to focus on the things that are more important later on, and then at the same time, when you're working as a band, you want to keep some ego left, because that's also a motor to be creative and to kick each other's asses, to do something great. And there's room for ego, but we are way more socialized in handling it.
Here we are, here we go, shouting out.
As you said, it's going to be very diverse that way, because you have so many influences, and that's what I liked about Helloween from the beginning. When I joined the band, and Weikath just sent me the whole back catalog. It was crazy to listen to all these albums, because every single album was different, except like Keeper 1 and 2, right?
Sure.
But the other ones were like so diverse and different, and then getting to know the guys, to see where Andi is coming from, where his roots are from, and then Michael Weikath, he's into like 60s, 70s music, and then you have Markus, who is a big punk fan, he loves the Ramones and stuff like that, and you can hear clearly these influences, and then me coming like on the side, slipping into the band, and having different influences as well. That makes it so interesting. And now with the addition of Michael singing and Kai's songwriting and ideas and energy, it's going to be more diverse and exciting too.
Yeah. And you mentioned it, or you touch on it, and like I came in on the site with different influences as well. Unlike many examples where younger members join a very well-established band and are basically nothing more than hired guns, you've contributed a lot in the last almost 20 years, 15 years with albums. I mean, obviously that's something that you will appreciate a lot, but was that a surprise to you that they were so open to that, or was that for you a requirement to join all those years ago, that, hey, I'm not just going to be here to play some tunes on stage, I'm going to be part of it?
Yeah, it was half and half. I mean, on the one hand, I was out of the metal genre for a while when I got the phone call. And for sure, if I wanted to join a band, I wanted to add creativity as well, But at the same time, one of the first conversations I had with Weikath was, that's job description. Like he was like, yeah, of course, you must be a good guitar player, but if it weren't the case, Charlie wouldn't come up with you, And then, but the job description here is you have to play guitar and write songs. So it was like half and half. So I wanted to write songs, but at the same time, they wanted me to do that. being in Freedom Call was a great preparation for that, because
Sure.
you must know that's like not like doing speed or power metal was not haven't been my roots.
Yeah.
So I got in touch with that type of music because of Freedom Call, and you know, having like double bass drum and all the stuff, and I knew what it's about. So I knew okay, there's a lot of theatrical composing and classical music, and then at the same time Weikath and I, we just figured out that we both love Michael Schenker and stuff like that as a guitarist, you know. So me being, as you said, younger than the other guys, listening to old music from my age was a big help, you know, because I came from listening to Scorpions and all that kind of stuff, Michael Schenker, and then also Saga, Chicago, Toto, Boston, something like that, you know, and and then having new wave influences, but you know, a lot of that type of music, but very diverse. And I knew what it's going to be about, you know. I knew the old Helloween songs, and I knew what it's about, you know.
Well, so let's go a little bit more into the new record. You know, we're still about a month away of the launch. But one thing that me personally, like, I can't wait to have one of the many, you know, vinyl editions out there. You know, that cover artwork is just so beautiful. Obviously, it's an original painting with many elements of different album covers, and the more you look at it, the more hidden secrets you find from classic albums. When a band does such a project with a lot of original members back or iconic members back, it's a self-titled album. The cover art is full of references to the back catalog. A lot of people expect, well, this is the grand finale. This is the end of the band with, you know, going out with a bang. But all the communications have been like, no, this is the start of a new era for the band. So the fans should really expect that this is a through start, as one would say. We can expect more in the future.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what's going to happen in the future, but for now, I would say that's totally right. I mean, for me, at least, it feels like this is a new era now. I mean, it started on the tour, and with the tour as well, you know. I have a very great relationship with Michael Kiske too. He's like Kai and Michael coming back to the band, also having to deal with the new members, because the Helloween they knew wasn't there anymore, right? So it's like new members, and then there's Andi, and then you have like the two singers splitting vocals and stuff like that. It was just a great addition, and it felt like this is a new start. And as you mentioned before, Pumpkins United was kind of a test song. I don't want to talk it down that way, but you know what I mean? It was like, let's start something, let's try it out if that works, you know. So while we've been on tour and stuff, and Kai was really pushing hard to finish the song and stuff. So after all, with the touring and how the album went now, I would say it's a fresh start. And then also referencing like the album artwork and stuff like that. I would say, of course, we wanted to, like, that was the biggest challenge. How would we get everything combined on one record? Because, of course, if you talk reunion, like normal reunions would go like, bands would go back 20 or 30 years with their musical roots. So, of course, we wanted to have that, but also we wanted to have like the best of the best during the other years, you know, and then also with the different songwriters we have. So we wanted to have like a best of album kind of, and also pushing it to the next level. That's how it feels. And and from what I can tell, I would say we succeeded with that, you know.
You mentioned before, you know, there's a lot of there's a lot of big personas, and people have to respect both the old and the new people in the band. We obviously know many sides of you as well from your projects outside of Helloween, with Palast, you bring music as well that is quite different than Helloween, but where you showcase a number of things, including your own singing. Not that Helloween necessarily needs a fourth singer at this point, but is that something that kind of like, is there an itch with you that you also would like to be behind that microphone at times?
Oh well, I gotta say I'm no metal singer. Like my voice is so pop that wouldn't work. Actually, on this record, it worked for one song. So there was like one song I finished with Andi together, and then it was planned that like the chorus lines and like the middle part was planned to be sung by Kai and me together. And then in the end, in the mix, we decided. So Andi said, like, actually, with your voice that I knew from the demo, because on the demo it was kind of Billy Idolish.
Okay.
You know, so he was like, that works fine for me. Just leave that. You know, so we kind of kept my voice here. So like, there's one song where you can hear my voice, like doing singing. But for the future, I mean, I like bands like Toto, where like you have like different people singing.
Exactly.
And, that works for them, but you know, I'm not a metal singer, so I wouldn't kind of want to stand there and trying to do something I can't do, you know.
What you do really well, and also obviously in Palast, a band or a project that is known not only for music but also for, you know, the connection with the fashion world. As the somewhat younger member of the band, do you try to guide the other guys' fashion sense a little bit, or have you given up with these old dogs already?
No, I'm you know, I think that's the other thing, that you have these very strong and unique characters, and that I really love. You have different types of tastes, and and then also, of course, you have like the age difference and stuff like that, you know. So I wouldn't intervene into that. It's more for me. It took a lot of years for me to find a way to blend in somehow, you know, but being myself. And I have to say, I was struggling with that, because when I joined the band, I was obviously so far away from the metal scene.
Sure.
You know, I had like pink highlights and baggy pants, and I was doing like I was producing pop music by that time, you know, and doing a few rock projects, but I never, you know, that call for Helloween that came out of the blue. So I wasn't prepared for that visually. So when I joined the band, of course there were talks about, well, maybe it would be a good idea to have long hair again, stuff like that, you know. and of course you try to kind of blend in, but I was so far gone from that. I didn't want to, you know, for me, like the old school thing was already over for me personally, not the music, but like visually, like old man in spandex, no. You know, something like that. So but then at the same time, it's a statement, you know, like having long-haired guys playing heavy metal music. It makes totally sense. And then I was kind of struggling throughout the years. I was trying to kind of fit in, but I never felt well with that. And so now, and especially I have to say, with Kai and Michi coming back to the band, it made it easier for me, because, you know, like Michael Kiske isn't the guy he wasn't 30 years ago anymore, you know, visually. And Kai is trying things, you know, he's like trying whatever he wants, and he's never having this one look, you know. So and then you have Markus kind of looks the same all the time, but then you have Dani, of course, who's quite young too, and then you have Weikath, who was like developing his like own style, and then in the end you have like these, I would say, almost comic characters in a band, and I have to say, if you take like all the big bands, you could see clearly that everyone is a kind of cartoon or comic character somehow to stick out, and that kind of helped me now to be myself and not being like typical old school metal, but still, if you look on the stage, it makes sense. It's not like falling out of place somehow. Although I'm not the stereotype of heavy metal guitar player. And and then also combining my activities outside of Helloween with my looks and with Helloween, that was quite a challenge. And yeah, so I'm grateful for that it worked, and I'm grateful that my band lets me be the way I am, you know.
How many tears flow away to become a sea of tears? How many hearts are torn apart?
With your other projects, you are often quite vocal about certain issues that you care deeply for. With Palast, you highlight a number of social issues, racial issues as well. With Helloween, all messages go usually through metaphors and stories. We haven't heard a lot of the songs yet of the new album, but can you share a little bit about what the lyrical themes will be? Because there are stories. You've heard Skyfall about an alien coming to Earth. There's a lot more story underneath the surface there than just about an alien visiting Earth. You can find a lot of meaning behind that song. So we know now that the album is going to be very musically diverse, but from a themes perspective, is there something you can share about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty diverse there as well. And but you know, like the core of our music is the entertainment factor, and also the being always kind of on the positive side. It can get dramatic, so some of the lyrics are being kind of dramatic, but we always lean towards the positive side. You know, like you have a lot of like evil stuff in the heavy metal scene, which is okay, you know. But Helloween was always about being funny and cheesy in a way, but at the same time having like deep, as you said, like on the surface it looks like very cheesy sometimes, you know, but then if you dive deeper, you find beautiful meanings, and that's the same happening here with this record. There are very positive lyrics. There, like, there's a bit of a freak show in there as well, as always, you know, and not so much very critical, I would say.
Sascha, we've got just a few weeks left before the album is here. We've seen a few singles already. A hologram edition of the vinyl was announced as well. What else should the fans keep their eyes open for?
Well, we have a few kind of special edition boxes as well. You know, obviously the vinyl thing is very big, so we have like multiple colors and stuff. And then of course we have different editions of the album. So there's like one special edition where you have bonus tracks as well. And then of course for our Japanese fans, we have a special album too. So as always, and yeah, it's a lot of stuff coming, and there's still like the band and the whole team is still thinking about new ideas, because it's obviously to be a big album this year, for us and for our fans. So and then we started to do some giveaways as well. We already started that. So for the Skyfall video, I went on Instagram Live, so I was playing the song, and then I made a giveaway. So we had like little Black Star amp, Pumpkins Helloween Black Star amp for a giveaway, and we will do a couple of giveaways during the releasing period as well.
All right, well, Sascha, thank you so much for your time today. I know it's very busy and it's super exciting times with the new album, and can't wait for having this beautiful vinyl in all the colors of the world, and trying to find all those hidden secrets in the cover. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thank you.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.